Hello and welcome to African Economic Research Consortium. My name is Jogona Ndongo. I'm the Executive Director of the AERC. It's a Pan-African capacity building network, and it specializes in capacity building through graduate training and economic research in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. We are happy that we are able to bring young researchers and even policymakers and even academics together in terms of discussion or in terms of providing the way forward in terms of the policy solutions in Africa, policy economic solutions to Africa. We are coming to the end of the current year, and calendar year has important implications in terms of what have we covered. One, to push forward our strategic directions, and two, to actually provide solutions into the ongoing policy constraints and challenges. I'm happy to report that we have managed to come up with policy briefs that address issues that are relevant to what is happening in the African economies. This year we produced some briefs on growth in Africa, which is fragile, and what happens when COVID-19 pandemic continues to hit on the continent, and what does the recovery mean for Africa. And we also have looked at the impact of the COVID-19 on food security in Africa. We have also looked at the COVID-19 that has amplified the urgency of economic diversification. In fact, in this area, we have worked with G20, as AERC is one of the T20 or think tanks in the G20 that supports this, and we have argued that the global value chain needs to be restructured for us to support the African continental free trade area. The fourth paper that has been quite important in terms of our discourse is the African COVID-19 update, and we are revisiting the policy responses and the wrong road to recovery. And of course, the final one is that we have just finalized a study on healthcare financing in Africa. And we felt that it is actually empty if we don't talk about how do you manage the COVID with the healthcare financing. So we came up with a new study which we are now trying to bring researchers to actually document, and it relates to healthcare infrastructure and managing pandemics in Africa. It's going to be a lesson for the future. For us, we are happy that we have provided some inputs in terms of our thematic approach to this, to the Strategic Plan 2020-2025. We had the themes of how we can actually improve the quality of our research as well as graduate training. We have our ideas in terms of how does that quality of research creates its own sustainability or its own momentum for sustainability, and how do we improve or create or raise the policy influence. And we believe that such papers and the thematic, the plenary session that is going to take place in the month of December is going to help us in terms of creating policy influence. In the plenary session, we'll be talking about the COVID-19 and the impact that it has had on public finance. And we will be asking ourselves, what are the challenges and what are the opportunities? In a sense, what we're really trying to do is try to provide some solutions to policymakers in Africa. Policymakers have really been hurt by economic lockdowns and slow economic activity. That has actually hurt even the revenue available for government. Revenues available for government have been scarce at the time when the populace and the citizens are asking for targeted social protection programs. We are happy that in some countries, and majority of countries in Africa, they managed to come up and even resurrect or even develop new approaches in terms of targeted social protection, that is social transfers. But they cannot be sustained if the governments do not have revenues. That is why this topic is very, very important for us to come closer in terms of discussing plausible solutions. But also, having said that, we also have to think about the future recovery of African economies after the pandemic. And this is where the opportunities will come through. It comes up with solutions in terms of taxation, and even instruments of taxation. I'm one of the strongest defenders of optimal taxation instruments And these are issues that will be discussed on the 7th of December during the plenary. We do believe that we have invited a large number of policymakers and a large number of experts, and then an equally large number of researchers from the network, both experts and senior researchers and junior researchers. And we'd like to come together so that at least the economic recovery after the pandemic will be well informed in terms of what we need to do from the public finance side. Remember, if we talk about inclusive growth means fiscal spending or fiscal allocation. But if you don't have fiscal resources, then obviously we cannot talk about inclusive growth anymore. So it's in a sense what we really want to make sure that we arrive at the solutions of what even AERC in this policy brief has emphasized. For the future, we need to protect private investments. For the future, we need to develop markets and protect those markets, regulate those markets, and even protect those markets. We need to nudge the markets towards the direction that it can be innovative, and that is what is going to support the future recovery of African economies. Thank you very much.